everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of my little mini-series, What Not to Buy. Basically, the idea behind this series is just to explore storage units that I find online or in person and just kind of go through the details that go through or explain what I like to call the story of the storage unit, or the theme when you look at these things. And when we go through these things, I'm going to explain why I consider not to buy this unit. Whether it's because that this bid is too high and it's exceeded my limit, or if it's basically at no bid, but I still will not put money on it. Since this is the first episode, I'm going to go through a few of the basics when you're doing online storage units, and that's just for people that are new to this game, don't know what to look for, and then we will actually dive into the unit itself. Not every episode is going to cover those basic concepts, but for episode 1, it's a good place to start. Anyways, as we dive into StorageTreasures.com, I can tell you now that this is just one site to look at online auctions. It's one of the better ones for my particular region, but it is not the sole source to find online auctions. You may, if you live on the East Coast, West Coast, you might find that Bid13 or a number of these other sites would be best for you. And that's something that you just need to explore. Google is your friend on that. Anyhow, as we jump into this website, the first things we need to look at, first thing that you need to know is what you can do. You know, what cash do you have to your disposal, what kind of storage capacity that you have. And all this over here is going to be able to tell you whether you can stay within those confinements. And when we look at this, first money-wise, the current high bid on this unit is $100. So if you don't have $100 on hand plus $100 for the cleaning deposit here, you probably need to step away. Unit size 5x10. If you have a 10x10 garage, 10x20, you know, you're going to be able to fit everything in there pretty easy. And you got to keep in mind that you're going to throw away a lot of stuff or donate it. So you're not necessarily going to max out that 5x10 potential. Clean out time, this is pretty basic with all your storage units. Typically it's 48 hours to 72 hours. And basically that's just telling you to get everything out of this unit before the time expires so we can sell it to another customer. If you decide you don't have anything nice in your unit and you decide to abandon it, you're going to lose your cleaning deposit. Sales tag, this varies by region and something you just got to keep in mind when you're placing a bid on these things, because $100 may not be $100, it might be 108, 110. And that's just something that you need to know when you're budgeting yourself. You also need to keep in mind, where is this location? Usually you can click on this title up here, Extra Space Storage, or whatever storage unit it is, and it'll tell you where it's located from you. And you got to think if you have the ability to go there and get everything out within the clean out time. And whether you need to hire a truck or do it yourself in your own truck, or if your van will be, suffice. These are things that you need to know, because that's either going to add to your expense or add to your time cleaning, and it could end up being a problem. Payment options, cash, that's pretty typical. You'll usually pay a credit card to StorageTreasures.com for their buyer's premium, and then you pay the storage facility in cash. And the buyer's premium is something that we need to talk about, because it's not actually in your face on this thing. And for this particular website, the buyer's premium is 15%. If you subscribe to them for $10 a month, it's 10%. And that's good if you're actually buying a lot of volume, buying a lot of units and trying to get them cleaned out. And you're going to save some money there. But if you're just doing one or two, just starting out, recommend just sticking to the 15%, decide if you like it. And basically what that does is this is in any auction you have a buyer's premium. And that is going to pay the auctioneer. And it adds to your expense, so that's another thing that you need to think of. 15%, you're bidding $100, that's $115. So keep that in mind. And now that we actually have got the basics out of the way, we're going to actually dive into the pictures of this unit. And right here, over here on the left side, you will see that you have a few pictures to look at. Some pictures are better than others when you look at auction units. And some people will actually get up in there and show you every little detail. And other times you'll just see the front face, and that's all you have to work with. And for this particular site, they'll show you give you a summary of what's in it. It's not going to tell you all the valuables or anything. Sometimes it might, but that's something to keep in mind. And as we look into this, you can just click one of these thumbnails. It'll load up here. And if you want to blow up a picture, you click it, and you get what you have here on the right side. So right now, as we dive into this, I want you to remember that the high bid is $100. And that's something important to keep in mind, because I'm going to tell you the story about this. We're going to blow this up. And now, what's the first thing that you see? Is paperwork. Totes and totes. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. And, you see a lot of totes like that, neatly stacked. And you have to concern yourself, maybe that's the entire theme of this storage unit. But, it's just a little bit of detail. A lot of units, they have storage paperwork in there, and, it could just be a fluke. But then we look up here. What's that say? Fortune. Down here, fortune cookies. You're like, okay, I'm starting to kind of see that, so let's go look at another picture. And now, when we look at these details here, what else do you see? More boxes that say fortune cookies, fortune cookies, fortune cookies, everywhere. So what that tells me is that you have to think that this unit is in delinquency, and now we have totes of paperwork, lots of it, and totes that say, or boxes that say fortune cookies. So what do you think the theme, the story is to this storage unit? To me, that tells me that this is a failed Asian restaurant, most likely. And typically, sometimes when a restaurant goes out of business, they will liquidate their equipment, liquidate their assets, try to get some money back. So if this company went out of business, they probably sold off all their stoves, all their fryers, their buffet stands, all these things that would have brought them some cash back to either pay their debts or just get away with something. So what do you think's in the unit after they've liquidated? And when you see that $100 high bid, they might actually know this story and hope there is a piece of equipment in here. Maybe there's something in that long box that's right in front of us, or something down in there. Or maybe some of these totes have some nice Chinese, Asian, Thai decorations that they can sell. And there's no telling, that's a mystery to it. But you also have to think about your risk reward. What is there? $100, that's a high price to figure out what's in this unit. So to me, when I see this, I think this person is about to buy a failed Asian restaurant's paperwork and hundreds of stockpiled fortune cookies for $100. And that's not a risk I personally would take. Some people are different, and they might see a value here that I do not see, or I do not want to see, or even mess with. Maybe they could sell these toasts for $10 a pop, make their money back, and that's how they're going to do it. To me, that's not the challenge I want. That's not something I want to do, because that's going to take a lot of work, in my opinion, for me. Everybody is different. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and this is, when you pick out units, you need to think about these details and how they will play to those strengths and weaknesses. And basically, this can happen with any unit. But for the most part, like I said, your opinion can differ, but that's my opinion. I would not spend $100 on this. Maybe if it was $10, $20, I might throw it on there, go take a quick look in a 5x10 unit and figure out if there's anything easy in there. At the end of the day, if I don't, I just bought a bunch of totes I can use for $10. And that's a different way to look at it if that bid was lower. But right now, it's too high. So cost of entry, cost to play this game with this unit, I'm going to step away. Go find something else. Don't let the fear of missing out ever pressure you into taking a unit that you don't think is good for you. There's always another opportunity. It's either better to wait for it or go find it yourself. Other than that, this concludes the first episode of this series. If you like this content, or maybe you want a little more details on particular aspects of this whole storage unit game, feel free to comment below. Direct message me. If you're on one of my social media pages, send me a message of what you want to know or how to find something. I'm open to suggestions, and basically this is just a educational series to help other people out, help them make some, supplemental income, help them out with their bills. Other than that, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in.